guys, Bobby here from Peak Performance Academy, and today's Coach's Corner, changing up your conditioning training. So what I want to speak about today is loads of people at the moment are doing their cardiovascular work, which is absolutely brilliant. They're getting outside, they're doing their running, they're walking, they're doing all that kind of stuff. So what we need to kind of educate ourselves on, and very, very important, is our energy systems. So making sure that we're training each of our energy systems. So we have 3 energy systems. The one that people will be most common and would know about is the aerobic energy system. And if you think aerobic, think of a marathon. So it's going to be long duration. You're not going to be gasping for breath. It's going to just think marathon, long duration, aerobic work. Then we come into a slightly shorter duration where we go to anaerobic, and we could be looking at a 100-meter sprint, 200-meter sprint, 400-meter sprint. Something like that. It's going to have a certain component of aerobic, but predominantly anaerobic. So think of oxygen. Body requires more oxygen. You're getting out of breath, you're really pushing your heart rate. That is your anaerobic system. And your third system is your glycolytic system, and think of it your lactic acid system. It's probably what people would know it as, and think of that as your short duration stuff, your 10-meter sprints, your 10-second sprints, 10-meter, 20-meter sprints, 10-second sprints, very short duration but very, very high intensity, where your body is going to have an accumulation of lactic acid in the muscle, okay, and it needs time to flush that out. So basically, if you do a flat out sprint and you really feel it in your legs, you stop, you rest, within X amount of seconds again, your body will flush that lactic acid, and you'll be able to repeat that and repeat that and repeat that for a period of time. So there are your 3 energy systems, guys, and what we want to do is we want to challenge each of them energy systems when we go do our cardio. It makes our cardio a lot more interesting as well, because we're not always doing aerobic work. So we'll say today you went out for a 5k run, predominantly going to be aerobic in its entirety. You could do that, challenge yourself for maybe a 5k time. You could challenge yourself for a pace, so you'd have a heart rate you'd stay within, or a pace per kilometre. So a time per kilometre is a good way to do that. And again, it's a little bit interactive with you as well, because you're challenged a little bit with these figures, and you have to keep it in a certain system. So it's not just going out running, it's a little bit of a challenge for yourself. And then we might challenge the anaerobic system, where we might do some 200, 400 meter sprints. Predominantly going to be anaerobic, going to be a lot more challenging, but maybe we can look at then as, okay, let's see what we can get our heart rate up to in terms of our 200 and 400 meter sprint. So if you've got a heart rate monitor, you could do your 200 meter sprint, check your heart rate, what was the max heart rate, and then all you'd work on as you're recovering is try to get your heart rate back down into somewhere around between the 100 to 120 beats. So you're coming back down into that zone 2, and then you repeat your 200, 400 again. Depending on what your fitness level is, of course, it's going to be slower to come down, or it's going to be quicker to come down, depending on your energy system efficiency. So that could be something you could challenge yourself with for your anaerobic. Now, when we looked in at the alactic system, the glycolytic system, the lactic acid system, we can challenge ourselves with very, very high intensity, short duration sprints. I would probably recommend you do something in the 10-second mark. Absolutely all out. You go to the maximum you can do. And what I would recommend is you would do a 10-second sprint all out. And this could be uphill sprint, it could be a stair sprint, it could be a flat sprint, whatever you choose, something easy. And then you're going to recover maybe a 4-to-1 ratio, 5-to-1 ratio, 6-to-1 ratio, which means you're sprinting for 10 seconds, but you're recovering for 60. That'd be a 6-to-1 ratio, recovering for 50. So when you look at the alactic system, you need to kind of think of your recovery in terms of, if you want maximum effort, just start to practice it in certain ranges. So 10 seconds, 60 seconds rest, 10 seconds, 90 seconds rest. See where you can perform as close to your first sprint as you can. Obviously, there's going to be a drop off in each of your sprints, because your energy systems are going to be depleting, and your body's energy system is going to need more recovery, and depending on your fitness level, of course. But you can challenge yourself there and see where the ratio for you is right, that you can perform a 10-second sprint again with high intensity. You can perform again and again and again, and just set in your head amount of sets you want to do. It could be 10 10s. Very, very simple. 10 10s, and then just set a recovery time, and then you're working on your glycolytic system, which is a good one to do as well. So you're challenging your aerobic capacity, your energy systems in 3 different capacities. You're not always stuck in one. The same as training, same as weight training. You're not always doing the same style of training. You're not always doing 3 sets of 12 reps. That's where you live. You might challenge yourself to, instead of 3 sets of 12, you might go 3 sets of 3. So it's heavier, shorter duration. You can add more weight to the bar, X, Y, and Z. So it's the same thing when it comes to conditioning, guys. It's about variation and challenging your body in different ways. So it's something that I would highly recommend you do. It can be very rewarding. It can be very a high satisfaction rate out of it, because you get to train in different areas. And you then think of your running or whatever you're doing for cardio, we'd say, is not just cardio, as in not just running, not just aerobic. You're actually working on conditioning. So you're conditioning your body in its 3 areas. And that's really important, that we separate this kind of thought process towards cardio as just running. It's always low intensity. No, it's not. So let's try to challenge ourselves there, guys, and let's look at the energy systems. Pick one on a certain day, pick one on a certain day, pick one on a certain day, and maybe challenge them. The 3 areas through the week could be very, very beneficial to you, and it can be very rewarding, and it can be a bit of a new challenge to you as well. Okay, guys, if you like what you hear, you'll find us on peakperformancekillarney.com. Also on all our social media platforms. You'll find us on YouTube at Peak Performance Academy, and also our podcast, Reach Your Peak podcast, which is released every Monday at 6 p.m. So please subscribe, review all our channels, guys. I would really appreciate if you'd share them on your social media. Any questions you have on the energy system work, please reach out and ask. I would be more than happy to give you any information you need on it, or any help you need with programming. Again, guys, have a great week and stay safe, and we'll see you next week.